But as we dig deeper into the data, what we find are issues of fatigue and that our flight controllers are experiencing. And we see that through voluntary safety disclosure reports coming in from commercial air transport pilots. That data has allowed us to focus not on the NAS as a whole, but on specific markets where we're seeing some of these reports come to us. And as we slice the data more granularly, we are seeing pressures build in a way that we don't feel will, if we allow it to go unchecked, will allow us to continue to tell the public that we operate the safest airline system in the world. And we're not going to react to that, and we intend to be proactive.
What we're finding is that our air traffic controllers, because of the financial pressures at home, are taking side jobs. They need to put food on the table, gas in the car, pay their bills. By the way, I do not want them to take side jobs. I want them to show up for work. We have asked them to show up for work, but I'm not naive to understand that they're trying to figure out how they meet their daily obligations. And so because of that, we have seen staffing pressures throughout our airspace. Those who travel will see that we've had more delays. We've had more cancellations. We do not want to see disruptions at the FAA or here at DOT. We don't want that. But our number one priority is to make sure when you travel safely.
Still in the US, and the government shutdown has now entered day 36, making it the longest shutdown in American history. Millions of US residents are without food stamp benefits as the government prepares for further economic challenges. Donald Trump told Republican senators the shutdown must end.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so that's a long time.
Nearly 1.5 million federal employees are still yet to be paid. Investors say they're being left in the dark from stalled government data, which is due to be released. Well, socialist Zoran Mamdani's win in the New York mayoral race yesterday won't just transform the world's biggest city, it'll also reshape the Democrat Party. There were also Democrat wins in New Jersey and Virginia in the first repudiation of Donald Trump at the ballot box. But is this just a normal flow against a sitting president, or is it something more serious for the White House? To answer that, let's bring in Director of the University of Virginia Center for Politics, Larry Sabato. Larry, it's good to see you again this morning. So let's go to that question. Is this just something normal, or is there a wider problem for the Republicans?
Peter, the normal part is that, yes, the off-year elections a year after a president is sworn in normally goes against the president's party. What's different about this is that it didn't just go against, it was a landslide. It was a Democratic landslide in all of the elections. There were many more elections than the three that have gotten a lot of attention. They don't get much attention outside the state where they're occurring, but some of them were red states, some of them were purple competitive states, and most of them were blue states. But there's serious concern, mainly because of continued inflation and the affordability crisis.
Okay, let's go to the Democrat Party, which is still trying to find its feet following that demolition last year. Does Mamdani's win move the Democrats further to the left? And if so, how is it going to win office from there? Because winning Middle America would be very difficult further to the left.
Well, there's definitely a progressive faction that bleeds into socialism or democratic socialism. It's the Bernie Sanders wing and Congresswoman AOC, as she's known.
Yeah.
And now they have the face of the New York City mayor. I have to say, though, what's hurting Mamdani now is not so much the socialism, it's that two moderate Democratic women were elected governors of New Jersey and Virginia. And together, they kind of counteract his image because they made it very clear they don't agree with him, they're not socialists, and they continue to take the party in a different direction. So it'll hurt some. It'll help some with the progressive wing that's been alienated from the Democratic leadership. But it remains to be seen whether this is going to have any real impact on the midterm elections.
So that's very pointed, just to acknowledge that, yes, there is a very progressive socialist part of the Democrat Party that's just picked up New York, but we're going to drift it back to the center.
Yeah, that's part of it. And you've got to remember, I don't know whether you've lived in the States. We haven't talked about this, Peter, in quite some time. But if you have lived in the States, you know that New York City is considered exotic by the rest of America. Yeah. I can't remember when anything outside entertainment or maybe fashion was governed by New York City.
Yeah, I have lived in the States, but not in New York. It was the other side of the country. But anyway, does Mamdani's win give Trump ammunition now to take the other approach in this argument, which he's actually already started this morning with attacks against Mamdani and the rise of socialism and communism?
Oh, absolutely. And this plays well with the Republican base. They hate Mamdani. They were rooting for him to win, and they hated themselves for it. But now they've got him, and they're going to use him for all he's worth. And yes, he's already in TV commercials being sponsored by the Republican Party. I kind of think they had him on the shelf.
Ready to go. Yeah, I mean, I think the result of that race was fairly obvious, so they had some time to prepare for that, Larry. Anyway, let's go to a few other issues, more national issues. The shutdown, which has now reached a new record this morning. How much longer do you think that can go on?
There is a ray of optimism, mainly because the elections are over. Neither party wanted to budge because they were afraid if they were seen as backing down, it would alienate their party base, and the base wouldn't turn out in large numbers for the midterms. Well, the elections are over. Now they're actually talking. It's behind the scenes. We're not clear what the compromise will be, but we haven't been talking for 35 days, 36 days now, longest ever, and it's got to end soon because it's freezing the airports, and the big American holiday of Thanksgiving is just around the corner.